Oh, I didn't see you come in. Did you come for another story? Ah, this is an exciting one. It's from Dookie, Sookie, and Big Mo, and the title is At the Spring. Down the long, winding road toward the village went Big Mo carrying Dookie. He sang as he went, making up cheerful songs as they went along. They were songs about trees, rice fields, singing birds, water buffaloes, and little girls. Dookie patted his cheek lovingly and said, "You sing better songs than you ever did before. I like your songs. Please sing one about Spindly Legs and the lotus pool where she drinks. I think that would be a lovely song." Big Mo sang for the joy in his heart. When he sang about spindly legs, he suddenly remembered the cows that he had neglected. He hoped the woodcutter had done the chores for him. The man had a kind face, and he had told him the truth about the wonderful magic for snake bites. No doubt the woodcutter could use the money he received from the sale of the milk. As they neared the village street, where the markets were located, Mo stopped singing. He held his head high and had a friendly smile for everyone he met. The world seemed so different now that he understood many things. Fear no longer clutched at his heart. The spirits would not take his little girl from him. The God in heaven was stronger and more powerful than the charm doctor and all the spirits and devil gods. Mo wanted to learn more about the true God. Little Dookie would go to the mission school to learn about him. "Shall we stop at the spring for a cool drink?" suggested Mo. "This time, Dookie, you will sit on some big leaves on the bank while I swim. We wouldn't want to get that clean bandage wet, would we?" "Oh, of course not," said Dookie. Big Mo made her comfortable by the pond, and then he plunged in for a swim. He did not stay in the water very long, for he wanted to get home and see about the cows. Suddenly, he heard Dookie scream. There, right behind her, with his long, bony fingers around her neck, was the charm doctor. Big Mo made a great leap, and his big hands loosened the hold on Dookie. He threw the little man down on the sand. "What were you doing to her?" demanded Big Mo, standing over him. "If you ever touch her again, I'll shake you to pieces." "I was only going to take her," began the charm doctor in his high-pitched voice. He hesitated, for he was afraid of the big man of the village standing so tall above him. "Take her? Where? To the shrine? To the temple? Where?" But the evil man was too frightened to answer. Big Mo leaned over, gathered the charm doctor in his strong arms, and threw him into the pond. With a gurgling scream, the man struggled and sputtered, waving his arms and legs in wild commotion, trying to get out. Evidently, he was not accustomed to water, for it seemed to be a great irritation to him. Big Mo stepped into the pond, and every time the man tried to get up, Mo pushed him down again. "The curse of the spirits be on you," the charm doctor gurgled and screamed. How angry he was. "The curse of the demons, the curse of the snakes." Dookie put her hands over her ears. She did not like to hear the terrible words. I think we have a picture. Would you like to? Oh, there it is. See that? Big Mo throwing the charm doctor into the pond. Finally, Big Mo pulled the trembling man out of the pond, shook him, and then gave him a shove toward the path. "Now go and stay away from my little girl from this time on," he said. "I do not fear the spirits or what they can do. I am no longer afraid of you or your charms and curses. And if I ever hear of you putting tiny babies on funeral pyres again, I will put you on it. Remember, I can take it to court. The mission doctor said he would help me. Let me tell you, there is a power even stronger than the magic of the mission doctor, and that is the power of the great God in heaven. He made the sun and the moon and the stars and the rain, and you'd better think a long time before you defy him by scaring people with your charms and curses, and by putting tiny babies on spirit shrines and funeral pyres. Now, get out of my sight." Gathering up his dripping garments, the charm doctor lost no time in disappearing. Big Mo picked up Dookie and carried her up the path to the mud house with the thatched roof. "Rest on the mat, little one," said Mo. "I will see what we can find for supper. It looks like the woodcutter has been a good housekeeper while we were gone. The milk jars are clean. The rice kettle has been emptied and scrubbed, and everything is in its proper place." "It's good to be home again," said Dookie, taking her wooden doll in her arms. "It was nice at the mission, though, and the mission lady and Nita were good to me." "Yes," said Mo, as he poured water into the rice kettle. "Just the two of us here at home, but Kola will soon be coming with the cows." Wasn't that an interesting story about the charm doctor being tossed into the pond? You see, when we know the truth, we don't have to be afraid anymore. We can put our trust in Jesus. He will hear our prayers when we call to him. I hope you've enjoyed this story again.